is in the game, by the way.
I did that voice and like I had like a pistachio stuck in my like dangly things or something like that, and like then I cough and proceed to almost die live on the air. Live on the air. And yes, it is in the game. We are Murder Moose, part of the Slashing Cast Podcast Network. It's in the game.
It's in the game.
Riley was in my stream on Saturday, who part of the Slashing Cast people who run the network, who started from a YouTube channel. And
do you say when people come in that are part of the Slash and Cast Podcast Network, do you just go into the spiel? Part of the Slash and Cast
I did not.
Network.
I did not. Well, that was the first time I've ever seen Riley in my stream, and I was asking him because he's been teasing some announcement in our Twitter DMs for like 2 or 3 weeks, and he's like, I've signed so many pieces of paperwork for the podcast network, and so we'll see what that's going to be at some point. So there should be Slashing Cast news in the next couple of months. He said he just had to schedule a meeting with us, but whatever.
What does that even mean? What does that even mean?
What does that even mean?
What is that even?
So we used to have podcast network meetings, Ken, back in the day, and Josh. It was just in Island. Josh's like, "Nah, I'm good, man." I'm like, "I don't blame you."
What? Was I supposed to go? I don't know.
No, I mean you didn't have to go. No, I was just giving you shit, Josh.
Oh yeah, I don't do shit.
You do shit. I mean, you do a lot of the main things. You run the video and you put all that stuff up. So don't act like you don't. You silly bitch.
No, I know. Yeah. I told you at the beginning this is why I didn't want to do a show. And now I said as soon as I start to get really into it, I know I'll just take everything over and do everything again. And then this is what I do now. The website, the editing, I'm like, well, I'm doing the video, and the audio from the video is the audio, so I'll just export it as an MP. I'm like, fuck, I'm doing everything again. Shit.
I would always take it back over, Josh. You know that, though.
No, I got it down to a science. And the fact that we don't edit makes me love this show even more. Like,
yeah, fuck editing. Dude, I've never edited. Like, for a while I would go in and, like, take out pauses. Fuck that. And that was like in my early Hearthstone podcast.
I don't think a show like ours needs it because we're ADD. We talk over each other anyways. Kin's still the only nice one here that apologizes for it. Don't. It's not needed.
Kin's the like sweet to our like cranky old men, Josh.
I feel like maybe there was a couple weeks where there was some like I could almost like imagine you on your porch in a rocking chair. But no, I don't know. It's not always.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Ken being angry and like wanting to come after you last week from all your cloning Ken and.
If that's her angry, that's just cute.
Yeah, I can't see Ken being actually angry. No, actually I can.
You can. You can.
I can. I can imagine it. I know it's in there. I know there's very specific people that would put you there, so it's okay. Well, welcome all, and welcome to the shit show. We are back. Josh, I want to know, how was Barbieheimer?
I only ended up getting to Barbie's Hyman was fantastic. I didn't get to go and see Oppenheimer yet. I went to Barbie with Diana and my nibbling and her or his, I don't know, their boyfriend. What do you even call that?
I mean, I would just
significant other.
Yeah, partner is the term. I think there you go. Partner is probably the term you're looking for there.
But it was good because it was like, oh, you know what? Like they came over to like jam and we like were recording some stuff and I was like, oh, I want to go out and film something. Come up with an idea for like a stupid, really short film. And they're like, well, I have all these songs and let's just go record a music video. I was like, done. Let's do it. So we went out to like a field. They had their guitar and we did some like, got a whole bunch of cool shots. Went out for dinner. Went out to the Barbie movie after. Fuck. What a great, cool fucking day.
I heard Cillian Murphy wants to be Ken in Barbie too. Is
Who?
the word? The guy who plays Oppenheimer.
Oh, that would be hilarious. Did you get out to see both?
No, I saw Mission Impossible. That was my
okay.
Sunday morning, and that was a lot of fun.
Barbie was hilarious, by the way. I don't
that's
know,
what I
Kim,
hear.
Did you get to see any?
Not yet. I think I'm gonna go by myself this week to Knoxville so I can actually go to the IMAX, and I'm just gonna go watch Oppenheimer so I can just chill by myself. Did you know? Okay, this is not a plug for this. We're not sponsored by these people, like anything. Did you know that there is an app that is specifically designed? Here it is. It's called RunPee. And it is an app that's designed to tell you the best time to take a break in a movie to like go pee, and then also let you know if there are I don't know if it does that, but it does let you know if there are after credit scenes and if they're worth
wait, that was
staying
Mr.
for.
Skin, right?
Yeah, that was Mr.
Skin. But yeah, so like Oppenheimer, there isn't anything extra during or after the end credits. Pee times, there's 6 different options for pee times. This
well, it's 3 hours, so
yeah. So it's this is a really cool app. Apparently it's been around for like a very long time.
I've never even heard of that. Yeah, that's interesting.
I hadn't either. I heard about it through TikTok, and I was like, this is cool as heck. So, sorry, cool as hell. Damn.
Your front page is coming through again, kid. Dude, it just all I'm thinking of is the pee time is that, like, I went and saw when I was in Reno and saw Indiana Jones again, and
again, is it really good?
Yeah.
I've heard it's
it was
shit.
just. Well, Toasty hadn't seen it, so no, it's not shit. It's good. But this old couple, like 20 minutes in, just got up and like walked out and never came back. And I'm like, man, they picked a bad time to pee. That was like a 2-hour pee. I mean, come on. I was like, what did you go in expecting? Maybe I don't know. They barely got past the de-aged Harrison Ford, and I'm like,
so at that point, do you go and get your money back, or
I assume?
Wow.
I think
that
if
is
you go
something.
out early enough. I know that when I worked in live theater, if you came out early enough, sometimes we would be nice and be like, well, okay, unless it was a dinner show, but like...
Yeah.
Yeah. What, did you just eat and now you want your refund? Get out of here.
Oh, they do that. they love to do that.
Man, there are people who just want to scam the system as much as possible, right? Mm-hmm. Scam the system.
I don't understand people.
Man, people are weird, man. It's like we have the writers' strike, now the actors are striking, and then like I saw on Twitter today someone with a yacht that like literally has this like thing that drops down into the ocean to fill up its little pool that's on this like remote, and I'm like, man, we are also along with the CEOs of all these companies that saying they can't afford to pay writers and actors, and like how much money they've all made in the last 5 years.
We also talk about the fact that Megan Fox just retweeted or shared on her Instagram story a GoFundMe for a friend of hers that needed it was like $30,000 for their father's like cancer treatment or something. And she was like, please help in any way you can. And the highest contribution on there was for like $300. And they're like, Megan Fox is out here sharing this GoFundMe for one of her close friends. Ow. Sorry, Stripes scratched me. But couldn't put anything to it. Whereas Machine Gun Kelly was walking around with like $100,000 worth of diamonds on a manicure. Like, the fuck?
That man is as Cleveland as it comes, man.
I can't with him. He makes me want to vomit.
He's as Cleveland as it comes, man. He is. That man was like nobody knew who that motherfucker was outside of like real in-depth rap circles and like Clevelanders until like I guess he a little bit because he had enough mainstream presence that he ended up like on wrestling on like Monday Night Raw years and years ago. But like it wasn't until he did his punk album that anyone knew who the fuck he was, you know.
Well, it was like once he dissed Eminem because Eminem told him to back the fuck off of his underage daughter.
Yeah. Yeah, he's kind of a weirdo. He really is. I liked him when he was just rapping and like pissing off Eminem, but that was because of the growing up in Cleveland and whatnot. That was a weird association.
No, I mean, like at first he wasn't too bad, but now he just pisses me off.
Yeah. He got way too much of the
Travis Barker's just over here going like, you can be famous. You can be famous. Well, now you can be famous.
I love Travis Barker.
I watched this YouTube channel. This guy's name's Finn McKinley. You would probably dig him, Josh. Yeah,
I know who Finn is.
Yeah. He talks about like he always talks about how like every single pop punk group has to have Travis Barker. I think he's like, yeah, this isn't special anymore, guys.
It's not about that. It's about. And I love Travis for this as well. Like, I came up in a pop punk group. Like, my first band I was in was a pop punk group, and I've always loved pop punk. It will always have a special place in my heart.
Yeah.
I fucking love it. But it went away. It's not trending anymore. It's not fad, and it was huge at a time. And Travis is now that like king on top. And he's doing the thing that rap artists do. Mm-hmm. They collaborate. Yeah. They say their name on other people's tracks, so then their audience will then go over and see these new artists. No one else is doing that shit. So in pop punk or in whatever, he's using his star power to be like, you know what? This group needs your attention, so I'm going to go and drum on one song. And
well, dude, I wasn't giving him too much shit. Travis is dope. All you made me think of, though, was Lil Uzi Vert, who I didn't know of until that long ago, who managed to put out a new album recently, and he covers Chop Suey on it, and it is nightmare fuel. It is one of the worst songs I've ever heard. I kid you not. But the album...
I met Travis Barker IRL once.
Did you? Yeah. He seems like a cool dude. But it was this translation because he did a song he had Bring Me the Horizon on that album, and he also kind of guest starred on a Bring Me the Horizon song, even though he like only did like.
But Bring Me the Horizon did that too. They were that band that like changed genres and did a whole bunch of collaborating with a bunch of different bands and stuff.
They got a new album coming out, and one of the songs on there, I don't know if you've heard it, it's called Lost, and it sounds like My Chemical Romance.
So good.
Yeah, but it sounds like My Chemical Romance.
Emo's coming back hard right now.
Dude, that and this, I forget the guy's name. He has a song called Loser. And that song is, I learned about it from Finn. He was doing his like best of 2022 thing. And that song is so pop punk and so good. But there's Finn's a lot of
shit.
Yeah, his YouTube channel is Finn McKinley. He streams on Twitch. A couple nights a week, but he's a cranky old man, but his shit's entertaining.
But he's so many people that I know in real life, which is hilarious because he looks like half of them too. Like,
he plays up how cranky he is too, like because you get like glimpses of him where he's like talking about shit that he actually likes, and he's like after shitting on stuff.
I love when he talks about easycore because it's my favorite genre, and he loves it too. Like
what's easy? I don't even
like Newfound Glory. It's like pop. It's like pop punk meets hardcore. So it's like pop punk with breakdowns. So like Newfound Glory, 4 Year Strong, those types of bands.
Dude, A Day to Remember put out a song last year. I think it was called Miracle. I don't know if you've heard it, Josh, but it's just a metalcore song, and it's like A Day to Remember is a pop punk band that is.
No, they do like metalcore stuff.
Yeah, I know, but they're like very also a pop punk band too.
Of course, so I would definitely classify A Day to Remember as easycore.
Easycore, yeah. That song is dope though, man. Miracle, it's a banger. It's a banger.
What's that band? I've been like ridiculously obsessed with them. I think they're called Neck Deep.
Don't know them. Knocked Loose?
No, Neck Deep.
You don't mean Knocked. Oh, okay.
So good. They're like punk meets. Yeah, they're like an easycore band but the drumming is just like so crispy, so good, and so over the top all the time. I'm just like, you really did that? Okay, I love it.
What were you saying, Ken?
Oh, I was saying, going back to where you said something about it being a shit show, that actually I've been like hyper focused on this song called Shit Show by Peter McPolin. And then there's another song that I've been listening to that's called Shit Show by Neriah, Neriah. Both of which I love, but the Shit Show by Peter McPolin I can't drop.
Yeah.
So do you do that ADHD thing where it's like, you'll stumble upon a song and all of a sudden it's just like, fuck, I need to listen to this until I hate it, and then never listen to it again?
Yeah, and then I hate it.
Dude, I do that with albums, man. I listened to that Color Decay by The Devil Wears Prada last year probably 1,000 times. Like it was like literally, I didn't know who Devil Wears Prada was in like October. I knew who they were, but I'd never listened to them. And then that album came out, and I listened to it so many times. It was in the top 3 my like number 3 artist of all last year. It was also like that with like I listened to that Motionless in White, the Scoring the End of the World album so many times that like now I'm like, I have no interest in the album besides a couple songs. Like my phone's like fucking ringtone is Cyberhacks. I listen to it so many times. But I still dig Motionless in White a lot. But yeah.
That was me last year with Stray from the Path. The drummer from Stray from the Path is a Twitch streamer and also has a good YouTube channel. He does a podcast called The Downbeat where he talks to other musicians and that types of stuff. But I stumbled upon his YouTube channel where he was showing a playthrough of one of Stray from the Path songs on his Twitch live. But I was like, holy fuck, what the fuck is he doing? And because it was something super weird, I went to go and learn the song and then got obsessed with that song and then obsessed with Stray from the Path. And I didn't even know who they were until I saw his YouTube video last year. And then they were my number 1 listened to band last year on my fuck. But that's neck deep is this year for me. I don't know.
Yeah, I've been I was stumbling back into to Run the Jewels, who I get like when I get into rap moods, hip hop moods, I love Run the Jewels. I've been listening to them a shit ton lately too. I love Run the Jewels. Also, I don't know if I talked about this here when I went and saw Ice Nine Kills, and it was like Falling in Reverse and Under Oath. Under Oath's guitarist Josh is the greatest guy of all time. He is like the most soccer dad I've ever seen. He's got a big beard, but he was in a gray t-shirt and like these dad shorts. They're the shortest dad shorts ever. And he's the guitarist for Under Oath. And he was jamming out harder than I've like no tattoos, just a pale white dude with just with a big beard just jamming out, and I was like, this dude looks like he's like in his van driving his kids to soccer practice.
This is like my friend Adam. Like he always had kind of longer hair, but he's my friend who's in architects. But they were just touring with Metallica on their like stadium tour.
How do you keep knowing? Like Architects is like one of the like premier metalcore bands like of all time, and like you're just like, oh, and my friend who's in Architects. It's just like
he doesn't have any
tattoos.
Actual
architect.
No,
like, I was like, oh, that's cool. No. I guess like I'm an architect and I'm gonna go play music with Metallica, and then I'm gonna go back to being an architect.
I was like, you're kind of metal, I guess, and then. On that tour, his hair's like now longer, and like all the pictures I see of him now, I'm like, oh, he gets it now. He toured with Metallica, and now he's fucking metal as hell. I'm like, you look so fucking metal now, dude. It's great. I love to see it.
The only thing other thing about that show that made me laugh, and I remember it now, is that the opening band was like called like Catch Your Breath or something like that.
Yeah, and
they had this like fat little Hispanic dude was their drummer, and this is like like at like 6 o'clock or 6:30 when it was still really hot out, and I'd never seen someone suffering so much while drumming. This guy's like, why did I make my life? And I'm like, you were the fattest drummer I've ever seen in my entire life, and I'm like,
I grew up with a whole bunch of like fatter drummers in my city that I like really looked up to that were like. I'm like, you're so big, but you are so fast on the like. What are you
fat and a drummer? That's like cardio. Like you're just doing cardio.
Smash does that for her cardio sessions. She just drums. Like she does all kinds of stuff, and that's her
And
cardio.
That woman has like
she's
0
shredded.
ounces of fat on her. She is just
Yeah.
like, yeah. Jesus.
That's what I do.
Just like, I'm like, how?
Yeah,
I was like,
and that's why you're like shredded.
That's why your pee-pee is so big, Josh.
Yeah.
That's why your pee-pee is so big.
Big
I
pee.
hit it on my snare.
Yes,
Yeah.
you hit it. I mean, that's
You
how you
keep
like.
hitting it, and then it just works like regular muscles. You just
That's-
beat the shit out of it until it just keeps growing.
Yeah, it gets tough. It's like the guy. Josh is like the guy who drinks coffee while drumming, but he uses his Josh uses his wiener as one of the drumsticks. He's like, coffee. Go, 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 go.
That guy's not drinking coffee. He's smoking doobies and stuff. He's hilarious. Love that guy.
Dude, his logo makes me think of cupcakes, but I don't know. His logo looks like his head's a cupcake.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name, but yeah.
I
The guy with the beard?
have a cupcake.
Cupcake. Oh, fuck.
That
man.
guy's fucking shredded.
Dude, that guy is. Yeah, he is. Okay. I want to say real quick before we get into the burning. We're talking about the burning from 1981. Are we gonna do Talk to Me next week? Is my next question before we get too far into this shit show, because that is coming out in theaters on Friday, and I just wanted to at least put it in your heads.
I'm down. I'm good to do that, I guess.
Okay, so because I heard Freddie, who has been on the show from Nightlights, said he saw it and was saying incredible things about it. So I'm interested in seeing it.
It's already got me in the feels with. Oh wait, actually, this is the one that I told you guys I wanted to go and see.
Yeah, this is the one that's like
the YouTubers made it, right?
the trailers have been going for a while. That's like a
know that
it's
it's
a British.
A24. That's
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
but I watched these guys, the filmmakers.
Yeah.
They're YouTubers and they're like wrestlers.
Oh, nice. Nice.
And they're
okay.
like their YouTube channel is like Jackass on crack. It's
Nice.
it's more than Jackass. Like they just do crazy short films and they're like good friends with a whole bunch of porn stars. So all their short films have like porn stars in them and stuff. It makes zero sense. And then they're like doing crazy stunts and
Yeah.
like hurting all their friends. And then all of a sudden they just disappeared off of YouTube for a year because they were making this fucking movie. And then
So they're British as hell then too, right? Because
and
this
then
movie is British.
the only
as hell.
reason they were able to sustain for that year is because Gamer Subs sponsored them for a year.
Oh,
Gamer
nice.
Subs,
Oh,
what I'm
I
drinking
remember
right
you
now.
talking about them.
Yeah.
And I'm literally drinking Gamer Subs right now, and that's what fucking I'm 100% down. I can't wait to watch this.
I'm
fucking
good.
movie.
Yeah, if you guys
let's
want
do
to, I can swing
Yes.
that.
I
Because
will.
Oppenheimer's probably not going to go out of IMAX for a while, right?
I gotta
No.
wait. There, the one by my house. There's only 30, I guess, worldwide that are playing the 70 millimeter version of it, and the rest are in digital. And the one
Yeah.
by my house has a 70 millimeter like print, but it's the machine is fucked, so
Oh.
they're trying to get it fixed. So they have it, they're working on it, but I'm not watching it until it's an actual 70 millimeter.
Nice. Okay, so we're gonna dive then into The Burning from 1981. And the synopsis reads as follows.
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th, the cash grab. A former summer camp caretaker, horribly burned from a prank gone wrong, lurks around an upstate New York summer camp bent on killing the teenagers responsible for his disfigurement. So, I will say, first off, I want to say real quick, I do like this movie. Two, this is the most obvious cash grab of Friday the 13th you will ever see, because this movie has the whole like, oh, this thing happens and then like someone keeps getting killed, and they try to make you think that like someone else, like it's a mystery, but it's not a mystery. And there is, at 90 minutes, it still feels like this movie has, I don't know, a half an hour to 45 minutes of filler. This movie feels like it's incredibly like, that's the other thing. And the third thing I would say before we really dive into this, Jason Alexander with hair is a weird sight.
He looked
because
so fucking good.
Every
with
time
hair.
I see him, and like as a younger actor, and he, just so jovial, but like not in a negative sense, like not a negative connotation. He always I'm just like, oh, like I love him in Seinfeld. I love him now, like whatever. But yeah, he looks fabulous.
He looks way more like, because he's always kind of like scowling around on Seinfeld. I know not always, but like
that was his character though.
He was like, I know, he's like the anxious guy, right? And like he's like cracking jokes in this movie the whole time. And it's just like, it's just funny seeing him as like that guy.
Yeah,
right?
because like
so
even in Shallow Hal,
80s.
like even in Shallow Hal, when he's wandering around, he's still kind of like the same Seinfeld character, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think at that
he's
point
just very
he was, like you get
he was
massive
typecast.
successful
he
character. Yeah, he was
typecast.
typecast. That's it,
Yeah.
right? Like so
They were like, please come in, Jason Alexander, and play George Costanza, and we'll give you money. And yeah, I don't think I've ever even seen Shallow Hal. I know the premise of like they made what do you call her? It's Gwyneth Paltrow fat, and then the only one who could see her inner beauty was Jack Black, right? Because he got. Did he get cursed by a gypsy or some shit like that? Was it like Thinner by Stephen King, but with a comedy? I've never seen it. Like
Tony Robbins puts a thing on Jack Black's character so that he only sees beautiful
the good
women.
in people.
If they're good humans, like then he thinks that they're attractive.
Yeah,
because he was Shallow Hal before.
Yeah.
Now he's
not. It's funny coming from Tony Robbins. It's like fucking. Also, Jack Black, who I've seen pictures of him picketing at the whatever the actor strikes, is that he just keeps looking crazier, even though he's not. But he keeps looking crazier. 1, 2. Jack Black and what's his name? Kyle were the worst contestants of all time on Hot Ones, besides like I think DJ Khaled. Like they were like early. DJ Khaled. But like another one. He every time I see pictures of him with that gray beard, he just looks like an insane person. I think
he's always looked like an insane person, but it's also really funny because one of my all-time favorite streamers that I like modeled a lot of my stuff after when I first started streaming, that I still use a lot of, gets asked all the time if he's Jack Black's son, if he's related to Jack Black. So
I think I've seen him actually.
Yeah.
I don't even know what you're talking about. What?
Cobalt Streak.
Yeah, I think. Well, I'm terrible
He's
with
great.
names anyway. But I think I've seen him.
Oh man, I just got asked if people say, like, I think streaming was the first time people were like, you look like Johnny Knoxville, and I'm like, what? And I don't.
I could see that.
I always got Trey Cool, and people didn't even know I was a drummer, and then I would tell them I was a drummer, and then they're like, yeah, you really look like Trey Cool. That was when I was growing up. I don't know about anymore.
Who's Trey Cool?
The drummer from Green Day.
Oh, from Green Day. Okay.
Oh.
Green Day is the weird thing where it's like the only one anyone really like most people know is Billy Joel Armstrong, and is like, even though I probably know what he looks like because Dookie was my first cassette, and I was obsessed with Green Day for years.
My first cassette that I ever bought with my own money. Actually, wait, was that the year? I just saw it on vinyl and almost bought it just for nostalgic purposes. Was Batman Forever soundtrack. I had that on cassette.
Was that Kiss from a Rose?
Yes, Kiss from a Rose. But I just saw the record, and I'm like, when am I ever going to see this again? I fucking should have bought that shit.
Yeah. I need to get a good record player because I have one of those suitcase ones, and it is garbage. And I only have one. I own like Welcome to Horrorwood, the last Ice Nine Kills album in vinyl. But yeah,
I'm honestly weirdly loving it so much. Like, I'm so happy. My buddy Tyler, who gave me that DVD copy and suggested we watch Creep or whatever. He's the friend who gave me the whatever it is, the record player.
Yeah. Okay, let's go back to Burning. I have to say, like, this movie, it almost feels like it was directed by two people. Like,
can I just say, the doctor at the beginning, what a savage.
Oh, yeah.
Come and look at this fucking freak.
Oh, you mean the nurse?
You're never going to see anything grosser than this shit in your life.
The nurse, yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, dude.
Dude, You know who? You know what else I was seeing when I was like watching this? Like the one kid, the real skinny kid, is like a character actor who's like you would probably know him from a billion things. Like the kid that with the big nose, but like he's been in a ton of things.
Oh yeah.
But I like, but he doesn't have hair like Jason Alexander now. So you see a young skinny version of him in this, and you're like, oh, that guy. No, that's like fucked up. That like the guy is like, the nurse is like, hey, you're new here. Hey, you want to come look at this fucked up shit? And it's like the guy who, it's that weird thing, man, where like the kids like play a prank on this guy, and this guy
what
fucking
a shitty fucking prank.
Like
what's the prank anyways?
Like the skull with like worms and shit. It looks like they dug up a skull out of like, you know, a older gravestone or a grave like yard. But like the thing was, them putting candles in it is what fucked it up, right? If it was just the decaying head, it would have been perfectly fine. Even though like
still a shitty prank.
Yeah, well, I know that, but then they try to justify it later on, and they're like, oh, he was so sadistic, and then you figure out why the guy is trying to justify it, because he was one of the kids that set the motherfucker on fire. You're like, oh, and then you go, oh, this is why he hates bullies, because he was kind of like, that guy was a bully, and they kind of messed with him, and like, you're like, oh, that's why he hates like that stupid blonde guy. Also, this movie has like way too many dudes who are way too rapey. Like the fucking blonde guy is kind of rapey.
Everyone is, but it's the whole script. It's just about getting to the next like nude scene. Like, because Friday the 13th had a few, but they were like, they didn't feel like too forced. It was like part of the actual like reason why, even though Friday the 13th was just, you know, oh, Halloween did really well, let's hurry up and write something quickly, and it did really well. So this movie was just the domino effect of Halloween being way too successful. And like, I gotta say, like the iconic, like the shadow of him, like with the scissors and stuff, like the shears,
the hedge,
like,
the hedge clippers. Yeah,
it looks so cool. That whole scene, and just like going to that image, like it's become iconic. Like, you know, it's the burning when you see that, and it's
dude.
Can I just drop some like useful fun fact info on you real fast? I was flipping through the trivia on the page and on IMDb, and apparently Tom, and I'm going to butcher his name, Tom Savini, he gave up working on Friday the 13th Part 2 to work on this. However, he was not happy with it because he was only given 3 days to work on the burn makeup.
Yeah. The burn makeup was
Tom
good.
Savini is like one of the biggest well-known names in like prosthetics.
He did the special effects in Dawn of the Dead, which is one of the big things. And the guy nailed it and made it even better than most of all, like, because he went to Vietnam. He was a medic in Vietnam and saw fucked up shit. And
so you know from Dusk Till Dawn, the guy with the
Sex Pistol
gun penis? Yeah.
That's Tom Savini.
That's Tom Savini.
Yeah. Phasmagoria and
dude,
he's in so I've been obsessed with Tom.
Okay.
For evas.
I have a question, and either one of you two comment. Does the hooker scene in this movie feel completely like just added? Like, I'm like, why is this scene here? Like, it doesn't feel like it fits in. Like, it was like, it's like because there aren't many kills in this movie, it seems like they added that scene for shits and giggles. But
so they could get a hard R.
Maybe that fucking scene I hate because he stabs her with the scissors through her fucking belly button, and I fucking hate it. Just like gives me the heebie-jeebies because
I think it. I don't know. Like for like, because he just got out of the hospital, and it was to show that it doesn't matter. He's just gonna kill anyone in front of him.
But the thing with that though is it feels like there's this weird thing with this movie where I feel like they were like, at some point, they were trying to make it like Friday the 13th, where you didn't know who the killer was, right? Even though this guy had gotten out and stuff like that. And they try to keep making it like that brunette kid is the killer, like the kid who's at the very end, because he's like the blonde dude
he was
and everyone's
so
like,
rapey.
oh, yeah. Oh no, he's not rapey. He was the weird one who, I mean, he did jump in on that girl in the shower, but he was just but like he wasn't the rapey one, the blonde one and
that blonde-headed guy. I wanted to punch in the mouth. They did a great job of making him not likable because.
Dude, that's my favorite scene though. Like he finally gets to fuck that girl, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And like he lasts like 3 pumps, and he's like,
yeah, they belittle.
This motherfucker is such an arrogant asshole, and which is why the character is actually you hate him, and then they give him like the most embarrassing thing ever, where it's like they like make him a 2-pump chump who like, man, who is so mad when Jason Alexander doesn't bring him lubricated condoms. He's like, "These aren't the lubricated rubbers. What are you doing?"
I'm not paying for these.
I'm not paying for these. It's like, oh man, what a film. What a film.
It's fun. At the end of the day.
I have a question for you two.
What's up?
Yes.
Sorry for blatantly running over you. Did you ever go to a summer camp like that?
I didn't. I never went to overnight summer camp. I went to a day summer camp. So it was like we'd go and
I did.
Yeah.
For 2 weeks.
Oh. Was it like an outdoor one?
Yeah, it was like just on the edge of the city. It was for like tweens and shit. I think I was 13 or something. And it's so funny because like at the beginning, because it's 2 weeks is kind of a fucking long time. Like I was just like, I don't want to go. Fucking 2 weeks. I want to hang out. And like I was just starting music and getting into the pop punk and the band and shit. Then all of a sudden I had to go to camp. I'm like, what the fuck? And like all the kids in the bunks and all that stuff, we're all like trying to plan how we're gonna escape and like run home and stuff at the beginning. And then at the end we're just like, this is kind of fun, whatever. Like 2 weeks, right? Like you just get used to it.
All I could think of is Cartman going to fat camp and him like smuggling in like the sugar.
We brought so much candy with us. Every single one of us had a backpack full of candy.
That's the point when you're a kid, like where like everything was about like hanging out with friends and candy. Like I would go to like gas stations and be like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing in the world. It was like when you weren't jerking off, you were hanging out with friends and eating like candy.
We right before I went to camp, there was like this I don't know, this thing set up in like a small mall by my house that like had what is that fucking show? The American Gladiators, where they would like joust each other off of like the balance beam shit. They had like a whole thing like that set up, and if you won like a whole bunch of like Wonder Bars and all this other shit. So I just had all these Wonder Bars with me in my backpack because I won them playing fucking American Gladiator before I went to camp.
Nice. Ken, did you go to summer camp?
Not that kind of summer camp. I did some like in high school. I did some leadership programs where I was gone for like a week, where we would do like kind of like mock UN, but on a state level. I did a couple of those. So it wasn't the same. I didn't get to do. I wanted to do summer camp like that, but it wasn't something that we ever did. Because I also did like a lot of overnight softball camps and stuff.
Yeah. All I have to say though, that sounds like it would have been a bunch of horny kids, just like in this movie. Because if you want to know who are the horniest kids in high school, it is not jocks. It's not cheerleaders.
It's the religious kids.
It's band kids. And fucking
kids
theater
and
kids.
Theater
I
kids.
went to band camp. Well, we did like overnights in.
Yeah.
What did we get? We like played in Banff, and then like stayed overnight in like, you know, this big hotel thing and took over like the whole thing. And it was just there was like a few parents for like guardians, but they were just up getting drunk anyway. So there was just people going into other people's rooms, and I don't know.
I just remember theater kids and how horny they were, and I've heard stories like, you know, the whole American Pie joke about like shoving a flute up your pussy, but like you hear stories about band kids like who were just like That shit was accurate. This is
I was in band in junior high, though, not high school.
I was in band in junior high, too. I played clarinet.
I played percussion.
Dude, I might have been okay at it if I had, like, been diagnosed with ADHD at that point, but no, man. I was just like, my mind is on another planet when I'm doing that shit, you know, when I was a kid, so.
I don't know what, like, everything that I knew or liked or wanted to continue doing, I figured out super stupid early in my life. Drums, yes, still drumming. Art, yes. Graphic design, still do that.
I mean, that's a good thing, man. I still have to, like, don't know what I want to do as an adult. I turn 40 next month, so who knows? Dude, okay, I want to say this camp also was this camp was it was so not well planned out. Like, there are kids, but then they just it seems like they just bring the kids in for the dining scenes so that they could kind of justify all these horny 18-year-olds running around, because the counselors are all some of these kids look like they're about 12, but they're smoking cigarettes, so they just look really young. But there's no kids ever in any of these activities, and then they do this thing where all the counselors are going, they're canoeing up the river, but there's none of the younger kids. I'm like, where the fuck? What
it's the older group. They mention they're the older kids, they're going on there overnight and blah blah blah. So it's not all the kids that go.
Yeah,
there was a lot of scenes that were set up kind of with really stupid characters, being very naive. It's oh yeah, right, where are you? And I was like, why would you automatically I don't know, I felt like a lot of the reveals of the killer were really just dumb people. It's people are missing now, there's other people that are whatever, and you're still just being this naive about it. And after all that, and you see people coming in, all hurt and limping and stuff, she's like, there's a killer, and the one person is just shut up, it's look at all these fucking people, are you kidding?
The one guy who's the owner or runs the place or whatever, who's got the Tom Selleck mustache and everything like that, is the most 80s looking motherfucker, and every scene he's in, he's just I don't know, he's just cranky about shit.
Have you not seen Friday the 13th? Jesus.
I mean, yeah. The thing is that Friday the 13th is it knew what it wanted to do. It just wanted a simple little murder mystery. This movie felt like it was we know what we want to do. We want to make money like Friday the 13th. You know?
But 100%. But the thing that worked for Friday the 13th is they did a little switcheroo in the first one, and none of the other ones had that, where it's oh, you think it's one person and then it turns out to be his mom instead, which is cool, and I like that, and it gives the character more legs to live on and be more fucked up, because if you're being raised by someone that's that fucked, you're going to be 10 times as fucked.
Oh, I mean, it's that thing where it's it has similarities with things like Scream, right? And that's why I was that's what I'm talking about. It feels like they were trying to make a mystery, and then
but it wasn't at all.
And
then he just gets burnt again at the end. The way he's getting burnt, he's just oh, I guess I could just burn you too.
It's that thing where it's he takes the fucking axe in the head, right? Or he takes he takes the whatever, he stabs him through with the head trimmers, right? And then and then he gets up because it's a slasher movie. Of course he gets up.
Yeah, you gotta do the tropes where they're.
Yeah. You know. Well, the thing that I'm weird about that too. When did a guy who got fucked up and burned so badly that
I like
literally
way better.
He so badly that he literally.
Never mind.
After my barbing,
are you so censored now that you can't even do it, Kin? You can't even force yourself?
No, I was thinking he finna to fucka. Finna fucka. There we go. Finna fucka. I was trying to put it together, but I was afraid that I was gonna slip it weird. I don't know.
I mean, no one here speaks English good, Kim. So you're fine if you mess up it.
I love to slip it weird though.
I mean, and then you yell, "It's in the
Sleepy
game."
good.
We know, Josh. After my Barbie like sex whatever joke I said on accident while not being able to speak English. I mean, who matters? Like, what I'm saying is, this motherfucker.
Who matters?
Who matters? What are you even talking about today?
I don't know. I'm tired, man. It's been a long day.
Who matters?
My point.
Can I just make a point really quick
Go ahead.
while you're on an ADHD tangent? I'm gonna totally pull you away from it. Josh and
go.
I both fell asleep for like approximately 3 minutes before we started this. So, and then you're tired from work. I've been up since like 5. We're doing great. Also, big thanks to you guys for letting me shift over today. I appreciate it.
You're the best, Ken. It's
Anyway,
fine.
go ahead. Sorry.
Hey, we all love each other. This show is nothing but love, regardless of like anything. That's the thing that keeps. It's the puzzle piece right there.
So-
Stripes, they love you.
My point was, though, this guy would never be carrying around a fucking flamethrower. He
Ever.
would have been horrified of fucking fire. And it's like the whole, like, Jason's afraid of water thing, which really, really only comes up in Freddy versus Jason, because he
That's
gave
forced.
no fucks about water until that movie. He was like...
there were so
he
many
was-
like they used water to reflect on his past and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah, but this guy would have been terrified of fire. He spent 5 years in a burn ward, 5 fucking years, and his head looked
now
like
he looks
Freddy
like a
Krueger's.
marshmallow.
He looked like Freddy Krueger's scrotum. That's what he looked like. And dude, I don't. Tom Savini, his makeup looks good. They don't show it very much, but like it looks good. Like, and I think that if you would have like sat there and stared at it for like 30 minutes of the movie, yeah, but like. He's like in the shadows, and they don't show his face until the very end. You know, I will say though, man, when this movie goes hard, and it goes hard a couple times, it goes fucking hard in the paint, man.
For sure.
Like the belly button scene, like I said, which I felt like they
If
just
you have
added.
Tom Savini, you're gonna
Yeah.
go hard. Like,
But-
he's the master of allowing there to be a
Yeah.
whole second unit on a
Well, dude,
fucking movie.
The one thing I remembered, I kind of remembered the finale, but like when rewatching this the other day, the thing that I remembered was the boat scene where he just fucking tearing those motherfuckers
But that's
up.
where it's like it's iconic.
Yeah. Well, the fingers just going off, man. And it's like, although I say one of the kills in this is one of the most obvious head. Like, isn't really there.
There's
like
a really bad edit. Some
Yeah.
editing.
Yeah,
problems in
and
that,
it's like,
but whatever.
well, it's
I
like
personally really liked when Todd or whatever the fuck his name was walking through the barn, and he had red paint, but it looked like acrylic craft paint that was like neon red, just like in random.
Yeah.
Like it almost looked like they had taken a paintbrush and been like, "Oh my god, we missed this thing."
Well,
and
like in the 70s and going into a lot of the 80s, they used that like I mean, we saw it in the Giallo films that we were watching, like, right, like they use the real like red, like bright red stuff for blood, and it doesn't ever look like real blood, right? It looks like paint. When you go back and look at
down paint too. It
Yeah.
was super thin in this.
you look at I think of Dawn of the Dead again, Tom Savini. It's that like zombies with that like just it looks like it doesn't look real, and I don't know if that's more of the like they were doing that so the MPAA wouldn't go after them. And this movie was way before, like they were like 4 or 5 years before the MPAA got real pissy with the slasher movies, because that started in like the mid 80s. Like it started getting like, I just think of it in like comparison of Jason movies where like 6 and 7, like 6 is where they started to get bad, and 7 was they fucking cut the balls off that film real good. But so they got away with everything they wanted to, it seems like, in this film. And yeah, when they go violent, that's why I think that kill was added at the beginning, because there was no real violence in it until like over halfway through. No one gets murdered.
It's the only thing that really doesn't go with the whole reason why. Like, the whole reason why he came back and is killing everyone, there was a reason. There's not really much of a reason other than, I don't know, he's horny to kill.
I mean, it's
he went back to Todd was like one of the kids that made fun of him.
Yeah.
So he went back to take out his aggression on camp kids, just like Jason.
Yeah. Yeah, because but that's the thing, though. Like, they tried to make it so, like, he was, like, a shitball in the first place. Like, and they don't really kind of, like, I mean, that was, like, the big reveal of the movie supposed to be, right? Is, like, that Todd was one of the kids that set his fucking ass on fire, right? But, yeah, it's like, you're sitting there going, this guy's just crazy, and that's what that, I think, like, Josh, you were saying, like, it was trying to introduce, like, yeah, this guy's fucking nuts. And it's like, but had he ever been killing, or did just making his face look like that, like, why he did it? I don't know. They don't need a reason. It's an 80s slasher movie, right?
Called The Burning.
The Burning.
This week on Murder Moose Podcast. It's in the game.
Burning. Like, it's a weird movie. Like, it almost feels like for a good like part of this movie feels like a 80s summer camp, like, comedy, right? Like, with Jason Alexander and all the kids are, like, kind of bullying each other and stuff like that. And there's not murders for so much of it. And you're just like, oh, but it's not a murder.
Those types of movies, like, killing or not, were just the 80s. There was so many camp movies and,
yeah,
like, but I guess
yeah,
it's the time too, right? Like, there wasn't technology yet. So...
yeah.
Well, there was technology, but there wasn't like what we have now.
Dude, I laughed so hard at the Jason Alexander bringing back the porn, and the one guy's like, "You got my Playboy," and then the one guy is like, he needs his what's the other one? Playgirl, a Playboy, and the other one, fucking
Hustler.
God, Hustler, yeah. Which is, I guess I never saw Hustler. Like as a kid, I found my dad's old Playboys, but like Hustler
was a classy one. Hustler showed actual like sex. Where Playboy was just
like
boobies.
spread open parts and stuff like that. And Playboy had its like little comics and its like editorials.
It
and
was
all that
just
shit.
topless. That's it.
Yeah. No, you had fully naked women, but you
there
didn't
was
like.
no like yeah, but it was like just models doing like this pose.
I know it was more than that, but yeah, you didn't like have spread open body parts and shit like that, and sex and whatever. I don't think Hustler had sex. It just had like.
Yeah, it did.
Did it? I don't know. I never saw Hustler. That's why, like I was saying, yeah. But that scene made me laugh.
Here's a fun story for you. Sorry, I just fell into this. The Burning was Jason Alexander's first film.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
This is about what? This is like a little over
horror movies
10
are
years.
where so many actors got their start, like Jennifer Aniston.
So Jason Alexander, what fucking year did God, look at him now. He looks like a but then I was thinking about this while I was watching this. I'm like, Jason Alexander was like 20 in this, and like, so what year was Jason Alexander born? He was born
in 59. He's 63 right now.
So he was like 22 when he did this, or when this came out. Man.
Oh,
And he dove right into good stuff, though. It was like 81 he did The Burning. Then he had Mosquito Coast and Brighton Beach Memoirs, which I don't know. But then he hit Pretty Woman, White Palace, Jacob's Ladder, I Don't Buy Kisses, Coneheads, Sexual Healing, For Goodness Sake. I mean, then it just keeps getting better and better. Like, and then I guess he also did, hold on, where was it? He did a lot of stage work. So he was in a bunch of different Broadway shows. He's got a Tony for the best actor in a musical. He's got Emmys, Golden Globes, Screen Actors Guild Awards.
Yeah, well, he's a talented dude. I really wanted to think, because after like the whole equation of how young he was, Seinfeld started in 89. So in like those 10 years, this motherfucker lost all he went from looking like a young kid to like he looked like he looked like a 45-year-old like by the time Seinfeld came around, and he was only 30. I'm just like,
well, that's the thing about Seinfeld that's really funny, is that like growing up I always thought that they were like supposed to be a lot younger than they are, and then now I'm like, or I thought that they were supposed to be a lot older than they are, and now I'm like, these guys are like kids.
Yeah, you sit there and go, it's the thing, like contextually, like when you're a kid,
Oh yeah,
adults are like old, yeah, and you sit there and you go back down and you're like, oh no. But
it's like that meme where you see the Rugrats parents in the pool.
Yeah.
It's just like when you were a kid, you used to think these people were so old, and now you look back and it's like, oh shit, that's what all my friends look like and are doing. Fuck!
God damn it, how old am I? Fuck! No,
yeah,
man.
Speaking of that, somebody today I hadn't seen in like 20 years or something, I had taken my mom to one of her doctor's appointments. She was like, oh my gosh, how are you? How's life? Like, how many kids do you have? Like, what's going on? And I was like, well, this is awkward. None. I haven't given birth to any children.
I have.
Like, oh, and I'm like, maybe you shouldn't ask people that. That's
like, yeah.
Dude, it's the same thing where people ask, like, why don't you have any kids? And you're like, it's a, like, coming from me, like, all three of us, like, who are, it's just not as nice thing, especially when you don't know people, because, like, you don't know what troubles people have had with children and whatnot like that, right? You don't ask those questions, man, because you look like, I know it makes you think you're like, oh, I'm being interested in this. No, you're just like being
you're dumb.
You're asking questions that could potentially cause problems
and heartbreak. Yeah. You don't know. Yeah, exactly. It's just but
at the same time, it's like an older thing too, right? Like if somebody who was in their 30s, like my age, approached me and they were like, oh my God, like how many kids do you have now, that I didn't know super well, I would be like, yo, back up. If it was somebody that I went to school with that knew that I wanted a whole bunch of kids and they were like, oh, this has been your dream, how many kids do you have now? I think that's a little bit different.
Yeah.
But it's like,
it's still tone deaf.
Yeah, exactly. Like you don't know. Like, I mean, there's lots of reasons you may not have children or choose not to have children or whatever the case may be. But yeah, I mean, it goes back to that, right? Just like people immediately being like,
why don't you? Because we think everyone should have kids. Because
I watched that. Here, I'm just gonna ADD switch it right here. I watched that. They cloned Tyrone last night on Netflix.
Yeah, I heard it was good. It's John, Star Wars John Boyega.
Yeah, and Jamie Foxx, and it was fun. It reminded me a lot of The World's End.
Nice.
Cloned who?
They cloned Tyrone.
Yeah,
it's a wicked cast. It's a fun, like weird sci-fi type movie and stuff, and it keeps you guessing, and it's just stupid enough that it's like funny too. Yeah. So it was fun. I liked it.
That's the kind of stuff, man. It's like Netflix when it does like lets like little filmmakers do shit like that with cool casts. Like it's like you don't need to make like they're doing like Red Room 2 or Red whatever the fuck that was called with The Rock and Ryan Reynolds and stuff like that.
But those are people. Those are people that are big enough, know what they're doing, also have production companies and blah, blah, blah. And you can just tell that they're just like, we're just being allowed to have fun. And that movie felt like, a lot of filler, but with lesser comedic acting or actors, it wouldn't have worked. But because it had them to elevate it, it was such a filler movie, but still I had fun watching it.
On this podcast, I want to do Attack the Block at some point because I fucking love that movie.
Oh, yeah, that's a fun one. That was before John got big. And I was like, this guy's going to be huge because he was fucking awesome.
Dude, that movie's great, and it's wonderful.
I love the art style of what they did with it. It's
it's so like it's like you turned like a neon poster from like Hot Topic or like Spencer's into a horror movie. Have you seen Attack the Block, Ken?
But it was so I don't know. It was so like then, like the exact time that it came out, it was so current. It was so like, this is a timestamp right now. I'm like, this is so fucking awesome.
It's a dope movie. It's John Boyega's in it, like before anybody knew who he was because he was.
Did you see the trailer for Twisted Metal? I was obsessed with that game. It was on like Dreamcast or something. And they're making a Twisted Metal series.
Yeah, it's on it's on Peacock coming soon. And all I know is that like it's the Winter Soldier guy and Anthony McKenzie or whatever the fuck is it?
Mackie?
I love the
Anthony
guy that
Mackie.
plays Winter Soldier because he was in the Radio Flyer movie. And I think he was in Radio Flyer. I don't know. Anyway, I love the guy that plays Winter Soldier. Maybe he wasn't in Radio Flyer. I don't know.
But there's a wrestler named Samoa Joe is playing Sweet Tooth.
Joe Samoa? No?
What? Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe is his name. Is his wrestler?
The clown?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet Tooth is
They got
Samoa Joe.
They got the clown mask perfect.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks goofy, but I hope it's fun. I don't expect anything good. I just hope it's fun. That's the type of thing.
No, that
like,
wasn't him.
dude, I still remember how much I loved the song "Painted Black" because of Twisted Metal Black, the one that came out on PlayStation 2 or whatever.
Yeah.
And you're like, I see a red door and I wanna paint it black. Blah, 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 blah. That's such
I
a
played it on
gnarly song, man.
Dreamcast.
Did you?
Yeah.
I love my Dreamcast. I loved my Dreamcast back in the day.
I feel like that was an underrated fucking console. Like,
oh yeah,
I
super
have
underrated.
one.
You have one?
Yeah, Legendary Geek sent me one a few years ago, and he sent me like a shitload of games for it. It's in my attic right now.
I actually really liked that controller. It was so weird, but it was weirdly super comfortable at the same time.
I think Zeke's been doing his if you sub to him for 100 months, you get to pick a game, and he'll play it for a day. And he played a Dreamcast game at some point. I don't even remember what it was, but yeah, that's been a fun experience watching like his people who've been around forever because they're usually mid to late 30s at least, and they pick games from their childhood and stuff. And so it's been cool.
Of course.
Cool. Anything else we want to say about The Burning? This movie it's funny. It's like. It's the most obvious cash grab, and you could tell that they kind of rushed a lot of things, the script. But having Tom Savini and having people like Jason Alexander as a kid, and it's a fun even when you're laughing at the goofiness of it, it's fun because it's just it's like when the slashers were just about people running around in the woods getting murdered, right? And It's not
all they had to be because it was new and it was for the time it was current. It was the thing that everyone was like, "Oh fuck, have you seen this movie?" Well, this movie's got a whole bunch of that. Let's go.
Yeah. And it's got a lot. There's a lot of nudity in it. There's a lot of sex stuff, but it's entertaining. It's not the greatest, but it's worth a watch, especially
Slasher
if you're
with boobies.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah,
that's all 80s movies needed to be.
We're gonna do Talk to Me next week, so that comes out on Friday. So I'll track that down. And if anything changes with that, like if one of us can't see it, we'll figure something out. I do want to see Attack the Block's a good backup, and also I do want to do Martyrs in the near future because you two need to go on your Martyrs adventure. Maybe we do that around Halloween time. I don't know, or maybe we do Martyrs for episode 150. Maybe we do that. I don't know. We're getting close. That would be 3 weeks, 8, 9, 10. So yeah, okay, cool. Okay, well,
can I just say this is the most coherent episode we've done in a long time. I didn't really do a 45-minute ADHD spiral.
No,
down.
We kind of started off being ADHD, but just talking about life, and then that, which is always fun, and I don't mind doing that. And then we talked about this film, but it's this film's fun, but it's there's it's not the most in-depth film, right? It's very much a guy gets burned alive by camp counselors and then or kids, and then comes back and starts murdering people with garden shears. But there's some gnarly kills in this. There's some gnarly blood. Tom Savini killed it, and it's a fun movie, man. That's all it is, right? So we had a good time talking. Yeah. So talk to me next week. Yes, me too. Me too.
And I'll talk to you next week.
We will talk to you next week, you beautiful man. Go to murdermoose.com, go to YouTube, and look for us at Murder Moose Podcast, and you will find us there. And subscribe. Also, fucking weirdly today, I talking to Tosi, and she goes, yeah, my coworker loves Murder Moose. I'm like, how the and I wasn't it was just a random thing. I'm like, how does we have people listen to us, don't get me wrong, but I was like, that's a small world, man. That is a small world. Yes, go to murderous.com. Go follow us on YouTube. Go to Kintinue.com, stdmotel.com, stdhotel.com, onlynouns.com, and quaintain. And what was the I don't remember the new one again.
Continue.fit.
Continue.fit. Okay, go to all those places. Come hang out and continue to stream. She's lovely and her community is lovely, and she'll say PG-13 things. Josh is joshwrb.com. And JoshWRB, like, what is it? What's your other site, Josh?
WRBdesign.co.
If you need designs, go to Josh because he's awesome. And I'm Rod_Johnston on Twitter, and even though Twitter is X, don't even get me started. Fucking Elon,
my God,
you're a moron.
I can't believe we didn't talk about that.
You're
the fuck?
I did. I tried to put that idiot in my head.
It depresses me. I've spent 8 years building a brand and building up algorithms and learning different things for it to be completely destroyed by a toddler temper tantrum filled man baby, and I'm gonna lose 8 years of hard work for it. So thanks, Elon. Go fuck yourself,
dude. I've made lifelong friends off of Twitter, and it just makes me sad watching a man just throw a hissy fit because he bought something because he thought that like he was a funny meme, and it just caught him in. He's a piece of shit, and I wish he would I wish he would step on a bunch of Legos, basically. So yes, go. I'm there. Follow me on Twitch. All those things, and we will catch you guys next week with Talk to Me. So we'll catch you guys later. Bye.
bye.
Oh, wait, it's in the game.
It's in the game.